The air smelled of buttered popcorn and spun sugar, thick with the buzz of laughter and the shriek of distant rides. Neon lights pulsed overhead, flashing reds and blues that painted the crowds in shifting colors. I walked beside her, our hands brushing occasionally. The night felt alive, the kind of evening where anything could happen. The Ferris wheel loomed ahead, its silhouette stretching against the deep indigo sky. A jolt of static crackled in the air as we stepped closer. The lights flickered, just for a second, a hiccup in the carnival's glow. Then, the people around us changed. One moment, a man in a striped shirt was laughing with his daughter. The next, his face blurred, his grin stretching too wide, his eyes sinking into dark hollows. I blinked, and he was normal again. The carnival music wavered, the notes twisting out of tune. I swallowed hard and ignored it. Just a trick of the light, I told myself. We lined up for the mirror maze, the entrance framed by curling golden arches. Inside, the air grew colder. The mirrors stretched endlessly, warping our reflections. My own face stared back at me, but the expression was wrong. I lifted my hand. My reflection hesitated. The air thickened. The girl grabbed my arm, her nails pressing into my skin. Then the lights cut out. Darkness swallowed us whole. The mirrors flickered, catching glimpses of something moving behind us. Shadows slithered between the reflections, darting too fast to be human. My breath hitched. A single bulb buzzed to life overhead, casting a weak glow. Our reflections were gone. The mirrors stood empty. I turned, then froze. There we were, still trapped inside the glass. But our reflections weren't looking at us anymore. They were looking at each other. They grinned. The floor beneath us lurched. A deafening carnival horn blared through the maze. The mirrors cracked and splintered, jagged lines racing across the glass. The girl yanked my arm, and we ran. The exit was gone. The corridors stretched, folding into impossible loops. Footsteps echoed behind us. No, ahead of us. No, everywhere. A whisper brushed my ear, but I didn't dare turn around. Then, the mirrors shattered. Shards exploded outward, slicing the air. We ducked, covering our faces as the maze collapsed. When we looked up, we were outside. But the carnival had changed. The colors were drained. The reds and yellows faded to lifeless grays. The rides loomed taller, their structures twisting like melted wax. The crowd was still there, but they didn't move. They were mannequins. Lifeless figures lined the pathways, frozen in mid-laughter, hands reaching for invisible prizes. Their faces were painted on, crude and unnatural. A calliope wheezed a broken tune. The carnival lights sputtered, casting flickering shadows that didn't match their sources. A game booth ahead still had a vendor, or what should have been a vendor. The thing standing behind the counter wore the shape of a man, but its skin was glossy, like porcelain. Its fingers twitched, joints clicking unnaturally. Its painted-on smile never wavered. A sign above the booth read, "Win a prize. Play or stay." The girl squeezed my hand. We had to play. I picked up a ball. My fingers left smears on the surface, red like blood. The stacked bottles trembled before I even threw. I hurled the ball. It struck the bottles, but instead of falling, they melted, pooling like wax. The vendor tilted its head. Its smile grew wider. The crowd of mannequins twitched. Some turned toward us. The girl grabbed another ball and threw. The bottles solidified again, but this time they crashed to the ground. A bell clanged. A door opened behind the booth. A way out. We ran. The carnival blurred around us, the paths twisting, shifting underfoot. The Ferris wheel loomed again, its gondolas swaying wildly. The ride's gears shrieked, rust flaking off in thick chunks. The mannequins were moving now, their joints bending at unnatural angles. Some had started climbing the Ferris wheel, their hollow faces turning toward us. The carnival horn blared again. The ground cracked. We sprinted for the exit. The wooden sign at the entrance was warped, the letters shifting and rearranging. Carnival of Shadows, No escape. A gate stood ahead, chained shut. Beyond it, the world looked real, normal. Streetlights glowed, cars rumbled in the distance. The mannequins were closing in. A ride operator stood near the gate, his back to us. Slowly, he turned. His face was featureless, skin smooth as clay. He lifted a rusted key. A final game. I reached into my pocket. My fingers brushed against something cold. A single carnival ticket, blank. I pressed it into the operator's hand. The key dropped into my palm. I fumbled with the chain, yanking it free. The gate groaned open. Behind us, the carnival howled. The rides screamed. The mannequins surged forward. The lights exploded in a final burst of color. We leaped through. The moment our feet hit pavement, the sound cut off. The carnival was gone. Not closed, not abandoned, just gone. The street stretched ahead, bathed in the soft glow of streetlights. A warm breeze stirred my hair. The city buzzed with life. I turned to the girl. Her eyes were wide, her face pale. In her hand, she clutched something, a single carnival ticket. Stamped at the bottom were 2 words that made my stomach twist. Admit one. Far behind us, past the empty lot where the carnival had stood, a distant Ferris wheel turned slowly, waiting,